Okay, let's go. Okay, so we covered a lot of topics on this one, right? We are up to, you can say, we did till research, you can say, right? So we completed the user personas, we completed the research, and kind of a pain points comes under the personas only, you can say, right? So whenever we are doing the user personas, so it's quite obvious, like we might have done the pain points also, right? So there is no extra things to know about the pain point when it comes to basics of UI UX design, right? Next thing, the competitor analysis, and you can say the scope of the project, right? So this we need to understand what are these, and why we need to add these things in our case study, and what point should be there when we can understand. Okay, so this is the time when we need to add the competitor analysis or scope of the project. Of course, scope of the project is a thing that you always should add, right? But yeah, so let's see what it is and how we can do. Okay, so first let's check competitor analysis. Okay, so as this words describe itself, is competitor is something who is a competitor of our, right? Who's a competitor of the product that we are working on. What are the competitions that we can see in the market if we are launching this particular product, right? Just for an example, Swiggy, Zomato, Zepto, these are the competitors. Or you can say Ola Foods is also there. Then it comes to Zerodha and Grow. These two are one of the biggest competitor in the stock exchange, you can say. Then let's say Hyundai or Tata or Maruti, then Suzuki. These are the transport or auto competitors, you can say, right? So competitor analysis is a kind of activity that we do to understand about our competitor. It is not about just to understand what they are doing. It is an activity that we do to understand about the strategies they are following, the growth path they took, the things they did wrong, and the things they are doing right, and if possible, the upcoming and the future projects that they are working on. Right. So under this, maybe you can say, let's say, business overview, right? Then after business overview, maybe let's say growth rate, customer, or maybe you can say market size, right? We will talk about this thing, customer market size. Then let's say things they did wrong, maybe let's say they did wrong, things they did right, and areas where they are lacking, and what else, reviews or feedback from the customers, right? A very basic type of a competitor analysis that you can say, this kind of data you guys can look for. So yes, I mean, business overview, of course, what that particular business is doing, the all kind of, let's say, subsidiaries also it comes, right? I don't know the spelling, but yeah, subsidiaries. I mean, for an example, let's say Tata is competing in a lot of business out there, right? In technology, in automobile, in jewelry, in a lot of things, right? So maybe you cannot compete in the different categories, but yeah, it should be related to the product that you are also making, right? So for an example, let's say you guys are working on some, let's say, just for an example, Pinterest alternative, right? So this is just an example that you guys are creating a product, and the business, or maybe that, let's say, competitor for your product is again the Pinterest only, right? So first you need to try to understand their business, how they are earning money, what is their you can say earning model that they are using. Second thing, what is their growth rate, how much users they are capable enough to generate every month, right? And it also calculates till when they got the actual, or you can say, enough number of users in a time so that they can rely on that business, right? Second thing, the customer and the market size. Customer and market size is something that you can say, let's say if you're creating a product, right? So let's say if you create some X product, but the demand of that product in the market, or in the India, let's say, is very less, right? So let's say out of 2 billion people, the demand is just among 1,000 users. So you cannot say that product, if it is a B2C only, right? B2C is something business to customer, right? So we have almost like multiple types of companies, you can say, B2B, then B2C, then B2C, and this kind of thing, right? B2B or B2C. So B2B means business to business, just like let's say TCS or Cognizant or maybe Accenture. These people are giving services to different businesses, right? That is a B2B, just like Amazon also, right? It is also a B2B and B2C also. Second thing is, let's say B2C only, the purely B2C. For an example, Zepto, Zomato, or Swiggy, these are just B2C only, right? Not only I would say it is a B2B also. Then it is a combination B2B2C. If one business is giving business to another and that business is giving to the serving to the customers, that becomes B2B2C, right? It's a combination of everything. For an example, let's say Amazon also. Amazon has B2B also and B2C also. It's a kind of a same thing, right? So B2B2C, let me say. So coming to the point here is, you first need to understand how many customers can be there. If your company is just B2C only, right? Those who are just serving to direct customers only, your main user is customers. So that should be enough that you can rely and you can generate enough amount of money out of that product, right? For let's say the things they did wrong. So Pinterest might have done some kind of mistakes in their previous life, in their, or maybe we can say in their previous versions of the software or versions of the platforms, you can say. So if somehow you try to get that data also, and so it will be easy for you to understand what mistakes you don't have to do, right? I mean, it is easy to learn from someone else's mistakes. So that is why we try to do this thing also. Again, the things they did right, because there might be chances that you are doing the same thing in a wrong way, and they did it in a right way. So same thing you need to also understand. Areas where they are lacking means, if maybe you can say the cons of that particular platforms that you guys are, right? So for an example, let's say you are using IRCTC website. So if you're trying to create a alternative to the IRCTC, and out of 2 billion people, let's say 10, 20, 30 lakh people are trying to say only one common issue that they are doing, right? So you can say you have a target customer of at least 10 lakh people, right? If you provide them the thing that IRCT is not providing, right? So you will get 10 lakh customers easily. That is why we try to calculate or try to research on the things that our competitors are not doing or where they are lacking in the current period, right? So it's a kind of a loophole maybe, or opportunity for us as a product designer, that we can do to grow our product, right? And the last thing is reviews or feedback from the customers. Again, this is a these both are the same things. If you somehow you can do the interviews or try to get the feedback from your competitors users to understand how they are behaving with the user, or behaving with the this platform that they are using, right? So you will get a very raw feedback from their side, right? So just to give you why I'm giving this a lot of things here is, this was, first of all, this was not related to our UX case studies, right? The things which I told you here, this was not related to this, all whole thing was not related to the UX case studies. Some of the part that is required for us as a UX designer, or maybe let's say as a product designer, we need to understand this thing. I'm not saying you have to go through all these things that we are talking here. Again, it depends on the product that you guys are trying to make, right? So if you think, okay, so I'm just making a product that going to compete with the Grow or maybe Zerodha, so you might not need to focus on the, let's say, growth rate, or maybe some business overview, right? Or maybe things they did wrong, something, or the right, or might be the customer or market size also. You don't need to do those things, because that is a thing that product manager, or maybe let's say the business analyst, or maybe CEO and management of the company are going to do, right? What you as a designer have to do is these last two things, right? Areas where they are lacking reviews and feedback from the customers. These last 2 points are kind of a main points that as a designer we need to focus more, right? I'm not saying you should not do the rest of the things. You can do, again, just for your understanding more in the product. But yeah, last two things are the most important things that you should do. So what will be the outcome of this thing, right? Again, like if you're getting the and how you can do the competitor analysis. First, let's understand. So methods to do this, right? So we can do, of course, we can do the Google search, right? And second, we can do, let's say, product analysis, right? We can just install the Grow and we can try to use it from first page to the last page, right? And let's say, of course, customer reviews, right? And or maybe instead of customer reviews, and again, the thing is how we can get the the customer reviews. So we can go to, let's say, if it is a mobile app, right? So we have Google Play Store or Apple App Store, right? So we have these two things, and in under this we have the reviews posted by the users, right? So we can read them and we can try to understand what actually they are liking as of. So it's easiest and the free option to do the good competitor research, you'd say, right? So Google search, product analysis, articles, of course, reports, if somehow you get reports, or again the reports only, right? So this is a very generic thing that you can do. Product analysis again depends upon you. If you have to use the whole product and try to find out the issues that they are doing or they are having as of, right? As a product designer and as a UX designer and as a UI designer also, everything you have to come up with, right? So yes, these are the kind of a method that you guys can do competitor research, right? And the outcome of this thing is, let's say, outcomes, right? So outcomes you will get is how and what users are liking in the product, right? These points are in a perspective of a UI or UX designer, you can say, right? Now you have to think about a designer only. How and what users are liking in the product, things, or maybe what we have completed, right? Let's say, is there any user journey flow issues? Okay, user journey flow, right? And the questions, maybe you can say, you can try how intuitive it is. What else it can be? Features they are giving or not. Then things you can also do, things you can also include in your product. How different your product, or you can say, let's say product only, right? How good your product, how different your product is from the competitor. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So these are the some points that you will be able to find out after doing the competitor research. What are the things that users are liking a lot? Is there any user journey flow that you can fix? How intuitive the user interface in the product is? Features they are giving or they are not giving? Things you can also include in your product. If, let's say, you might not have added the thing that they are giving, so you can add in your product also. Last but not the least is the how different your product is from the competitor, right? Kind of a unique perspective or the things that customers are not getting as of now, but you are giving to them, right? So overall, the competitor analysis is a kind of activity that we try to do to get more clarity on our users, the services they are using as of now, and the things we as a designer don't have to do, we as a product manager don't have to do, we as a owner of the product don't have, right? So this is why we do the this, you can say, the competitor analysis. Cool. So yeah, kind of a little bit boring point it was, but yeah. Second thing we have is the scope of the project. What is the scope of the project, and where and when we have to use it? Okay, scope of the project. Again, if we just look at this name also, it is just going to tell us what could be the solution or the outcome or the scope that this project, whatever you are doing as of now, is going to achieve, right? So just for an example, let's take example of Mohit case study here, right? So he's or maybe the thing that his father is struggling with, right? So the problem, maybe you can say, was to differentiate between personal and professional messages on WhatsApp, right? So this is the problem that these people, the father of Mohit was struck, right? So now let's say solution. What could be the solution to this one? Let's say you introduced a feature, right? Let's say message segregation feature you introduced, and the scope. What could be the scope, or you can say, let's say, the outcome also, right? Yep, outcome also could be the less user frustration, right? Less user frustration, more time saving, easy to recognize messages, easy to handle the pressure, and let's say work pressure also, right? Things will be in systematic systematic way, right? Blah blah, and a lot of things that we can do here, right? So kind of a things that I mean you can mention in this thing, right? So yeah, these are the some outcomes. Look at this. Yeah, these are the some outcomes you can say, right? The outcomes that these people can or these things can do on the people by using the product, right? And same thing if we just try to, I mean, copy from here and let me just make 2 points here, then we will try to relate it with the outcome, right? So yeah, I mean, scope is something, the changes that we can do, right, in the people's life, you can say, right? Scope is something related to that only. So if we are able to measure the outcomes that we can do, so or the solutions that we can do, so same things are going to fit into the scope also, right? Or you can say some opportunity that we can also get as a designer, right? So for us, the opportunity here to make this project is, you can say, we will get an opportunity to reduce the frustration of the user. We will get an opportunity to reduce the or to increase the time saving for the users. We will get an opportunity to help our users to easily to recognize the messages that they are having, right? Same things. I mean, outcome is kind of a similar thing or maybe directly proportional to scope only, right? So scope is something, if I just say it, let's say change or opportunity you will create or get after this, right? So yes, whenever we want to define the scope of the project, these, I mean, this is again the same thing that we define under the outcome, right? So yes, we whenever we are creating a very good case study, the things and the case study types that we are working on today, right, in this batch, so those are the real projects that you can define their scope, right? Similarly, if you guys are able to and define the scope according to the case study you guys have selected, so you should add this particular column in your case study, so that person should know, or maybe, I mean, person whatever who is the reader to your case study, they should be know, okay, so this is the opportunity or the changes or the outcomes that you will be able to make if we implement this same you can say the solution that you are providing, right? So yeah, it is a, so scope of the project is kind of a very I would say one of the required section that we can add in our case study, right? Okay, so before proceeding to the next topic we are having for today, is there any questions in your mind related to competitor analysis and the scope of the project? If someone is having any question, so they can ask me, otherwise we will move towards the next solution or the topic.
Yeah, what if
So I mean, see, again, if you do not have any competitor, so you can say there can be two different scenario for this one, right? So one, it can be that the solution that you want to create, there is no demand of that, right? First thing can be this one. Second thing can be, it is very rare, but yeah, because there are a lot of minded people than us, those who might have think about the same situation that they can also work on, right? So let's say there is very rare thing that is not sold yet, or there is no product on the same thing yet in the whole market, right? So then you can say, okay, so maybe you can do it, but it's a very rare thing that you will not get a competitor on the product that you are thinking of, or that maybe you are working on. Might be you might be working on a very small thing that big products are having, right? So yes, I mean, competitors are going to be there, of course, but it depends upon, are we able to reach to them, are we able to find them, whether the competitors are there or not. But let's say if there is no competitor, let's assume this thing, there is no competitor, you are creating a product and you are the only one in this whole world for that particular product, so you don't have to do the competitor analysis. You might just have to understand the customer or market size only, right? Maybe this thing you have to understand just for your business only. I might not say just for the users, or maybe as a UX designers. If you're some CEO or management level person, so maybe you can do this, right? So yes, again, I don't think so. I mean, there would be any kind of product that does not have any competitor.